In a professional environment, progress involves consistent adaptation. But supporting a team through a new transition is rarely about the technical steps by themselves.
That's right, Sophia. It is more about how we share that vision and respond to the practical questions from our colleagues.
Whether you are introducing a new workflow or organizing a department, your choice of words reflects your leadership style. Today, Marcus and I will help you apply a structured approach of 5 steps to guide change with clarity and professional empathy.
By the end of this session, you will have effective ways to turn transition periods into opportunities for collective success. Let's start with our first step, announcing a new workflow.
The very first step in leading change effectively is how you introduce the update. Marcus, typically when people hear about a new workflow, their initial reaction is often a question about their daily workload, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. That is a completely natural human response. That is why our strategy here is not to give orders, but rather to focus on setting the context.
Exactly. Instead of focusing on technical details, we should start by highlighting the practical benefits regarding time and convenience for the team. A thoughtful introduction helps clarify the purpose from the very beginning.
Right. Let's observe how Sophia introduces a new management system to Marcus during a regular team update.
Hello, Marcus. Before we wrap up, I'd like to share an update regarding our project management framework. We are moving to a more integrated system starting next month.
Oh, I see. Sophia, our current method is working quite well for the team. Won't a new system require additional time to learn?
I completely understand your point, Marcus. It's natural to feel that way when we already have a functional routine. The primary goal of this transition is to enhance our collective productivity by automating manual data entry.
I hear you, but our schedule is quite tight for the next few weeks. I'm concerned this might impact our current pace.
That is a valid concern. That's why we've decided to implement this in phases. We will provide full technical support and will adjust our performance expectations during the first 2 weeks.
I appreciate the clarification. If we have that kind of support, it sounds much more manageable for the team.
Great! I'm glad we're on the same page. We want to ensure this evolution supports your productivity. Please pay close attention to the subtle but important differences in word choice.
Instead of saying, "We're changing the system because the old one is not good enough anymore." While honest, this can sometimes overlook the team's past efforts.
Instead say, as we continue to grow, we are evolving our tools to better support our expanding needs. This language carries positive energy and recognizes the team's progress.
Now it's your turn. Let's practice these professional phrases to get you ready for the workplace.
We are planning to transition to a more integrated system. We are planning to transition to a more integrated system. That's it. Notice the professional tone. Now, let's try the next one. I completely understand your point, and I appreciate your feedback. I completely understand your point, and I appreciate your feedback. Well done. You are developing a very natural speaking rhythm.
Wow, we have successfully covered the introduction. But, Sophia, in reality, it isn't always just about general worry. Sometimes colleagues will bring up specific facts to question the efficiency of a change.
You are absolutely right, Marcus. That is when we need the skill of addressing specific feedback, handling skepticism with data and professional empathy.
This next skill will help you maintain your leadership presence even during the most detailed questioning. Let's see how to handle that in our next step.
Moving on to our second step, Marcus. Once a change is announced, it is common for team members to evaluate the efficiency of the new plan. Sometimes they might even present data that suggests a different perspective on our goals.
Precisely, Sophia. This is a critical moment.
If a leader overlooks these concerns too quickly, it might affect the team's alignment. Our strategy here is professional understanding with data.
I like that. It means we acknowledge the validity of their observations while providing a broader perspective. We focus on long-term sustainability rather than just immediate results.
Exactly. Let's see how Sophia handles Marcus when he presents a concern about the potential adjustment in output during the transition phase.
Marcus, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the initial performance metrics we projected for the new workflow.
I have reviewed the numbers from our last trial. These figures suggest a 15% adjustment in output during the first month. I'm concerned this might influence our quarterly targets.
I appreciate you bringing those figures to my attention. It is true that there is an adaptation period whenever we update our processes.
My main worry is that if we don't maintain our current pace, we might face a workload that is difficult to manage later.
That is a very logical observation. However, our analysis also shows that by month 3, the automation will increase our capacity by 30%.
So you are saying the initial adjustment is a planned investment for a much higher output later on?
Precisely. We have refined our expectations for next month to give the team space to adapt in a supportive environment.
I see. Knowing that the targets have been refined makes me feel much more confident about moving forward.
In this scenario, notice how we avoid language that dismisses the team's input.
Instead of saying, "Your data is incomplete and you are simply avoiding change," this approach is counterproductive and limits open communication within your team.
Instead, say, "I value your analytical approach. Let's look at how we can manage the transition period together." This invites collaboration and shows you value their expertise.
It's time to speak. Let's practice these professional phrases to build your confidence in professional meetings.
I appreciate you bringing those figures to my attention.
I appreciate you bringing those figures to my attention.
That's it. Focus on the steady pace. Let's try a phrase for addressing concerns. That is a logical observation, and I hear your concerns.
That is a logical observation, and I hear your concerns.
Well done. You are using the tone of a professional leader.
Managing data-driven feedback is definitely a sign of a professional leader. But Sophia, what happens when things require further modification?
That is a great question, Marcus. Even the best plans require periodic updates.
So our next step is about flexibility? How do we inform the team that we are updating the roadmap while maintaining our professional credibility?
That is exactly what we will cover in Step 3, refining the roadmap. Don't go anywhere because this skill is essential for sustainable leadership. Let's discuss Step 3. In any transition, we often encounter unforeseen variables that require a strategic pivot. Marcus, how a leader communicates an adjustment to an existing plan is a key way to show professional credibility.
That is an important point, Sophia. If a direction changes too abruptly, without context, the team might lose confidence in the overall strategy. The approach here is clear adjustment.
Precisely. This involves acknowledging new data and explaining why an adjustment is the most responsible course of action. The focus is on being realistic and maintaining steady and reliable operations.
Let's listen to how Sophia informs Marcus that the launch date for the new workflow needs to be rescheduled due to technical feedback.
Marcus, I have just finished reviewing the feedback from our initial testing phase. It appears we need to refine the system's functions before the full rollout.
I see. Does this mean we are moving the launch date? The team has been working consistently to meet the original deadline.
I recognize the consistent effort the team has put in. However, based on the current feedback, launching now could result in technical inconsistencies that might disrupt our daily operations.
I understand the concern. Will this adjustment affect our overall project objectives for this quarter?
We are adjusting the roadmap to include a 2-week refinement period. This is a proactive measure to ensure that when we launch, the system is fully stable and supports your workflow effectively.
I appreciate the transparency. It is more effective to launch a stable system with a slight delay than a problematic one on schedule.
Our priority is quality and long-term stability for the entire team. Pay attention to how we communicate the reason for the timeline adjustment.
Instead of saying, the current plan is not working, so we have to stop everything and wait for a long time. This phrasing creates unnecessary uncertainty and lacks professional clarity.
Instead, say, we are realigning our timeline to incorporate the latest feedback and ensure a smooth transition. This shows that the adjustment is a controlled, strategic decision based on data. Now, let's practice these phrases. Focus on a clear and professional delivery. We are realigning our timeline to incorporate the latest feedback.
We are realigning our timeline to incorporate the latest feedback.
Let's try the next phrase for explaining the logic behind the change. This is a proactive measure to ensure long-term stability.
This is a proactive measure to ensure long-term stability.
Utilizing these expressions helps you communicate changes with confidence and maintain professional standards. Adjusting a timeline is a necessary skill, but as we move forward, team members need to know exactly what they are responsible for in this new structure.
Exactly, Sophia. Without clear roles, even a perfect roadmap can lead to confusion during execution.
So, how do we assign new tasks without causing the team to feel overwhelmed?
That leads us directly to step 4, redefining roles and responsibilities. We will explore how to provide clear and manageable expectations in the next part.
As we progress with the new workflow, it is essential to clarify specific responsibilities. Marcus, when roles shift, team members often evaluate how the changes affect their current focus and workload.
That is a common observation, Sophia. If responsibilities are not clearly defined, team efficiency can decrease. Our strategy here is collaborative responsibility.
Correct. This involves outlining new expectations while ensuring that the transition remains sustainable for everyone. We focus on aligning tasks with individual expertise and providing the necessary support.
Let's listen to how Sophia discusses these adjustments with Marcus to ensure he feels prepared for his updated functions.
Marcus, as we integrate the new system, I'd like to discuss your updated role in managing the data validation process.
I appreciate the update, Sophia. However, I am currently managing 3 major projects. I want to ensure that taking on data validation does not affect the quality of my existing commitments.
I understand your perspective. To keep your workload balanced, we are reassigning your routine administrative tasks to the support team. This allows you to focus your efforts on high-level validation.
I see. So the objective is to prioritize my analytical tasks rather than simply adding more responsibilities?
Exactly. We want to apply your technical skills where they provide the most value to the project. I will also provide you with the updated documentation by tomorrow to assist with the transition.
Knowing that the routine tasks are being handled makes this much more manageable. I feel prepared to take this on.
Our goal is to ensure that everyone's role is clear and that the workflow remains productive during this period of change. Notice how we avoid assigning tasks without providing a clear plan for balance.
Instead of saying, you are now in charge of this new task, you need to handle it regardless of your current schedule. This approach can lead to confusion and a lack of clear direction.
Instead, say, we are realigning your responsibilities to better match your expertise with our current objectives. This demonstrates that the change is strategic and respects the professional capacity of the team member. Now, let's practice these phrases to help you communicate changes with more clarity. We are realigning your responsibilities to better match your expertise.
We are realigning your responsibilities to better match your expertise.
Let's try another phrase for addressing workload balance. We want to ensure the workload remains balanced during this transition.
We want to ensure the workload remains balanced during this transition.
Practicing these expressions helps you maintain a professional and organized tone in any workplace discussion. Defining roles clearly is a major step in reducing workplace uncertainty. However, even with clear roles, a team needs to feel supported by leadership over time.
Absolutely, Sophia. Organizational change is a continuous process that requires consistent follow-up. It requires consistent follow-up.
So, how do we demonstrate a long-term commitment to our team's development?
That leads us to our final step. Step 5, long-term support commitment. We will discuss how to build lasting trust and a culture of continuous growth. Stay with us for this final essential part.
Finally, we reach step 5. Marcus, a common oversight in leadership is assuming the process ends once the new system is operational. The true measure of professional success is the support we provide in the months that follow.
That is very accurate, Sophia. If support is withdrawn too early, the team might return to less efficient methods. Our strategy here is ongoing professional support.
Precisely. This involves maintaining a feedback loop where team members can report operational issues without hesitation. We focus on a culture of continuous improvement, showing that leadership is committed to the long-term journey.
Let's listen to how Sophia reinforces this commitment to Marcus as they move beyond the initial implementation phase.
Marcus, now that we've been utilizing the new framework for a month, I'd like to schedule a brief check-in to see how the team is adapting to the changes.
The transition has been positive overall, Sophia. However, we have noticed a few minor inconsistencies in the reporting module that were not apparent during the initial training.
I appreciate you highlighting those details. Implementation is an ongoing process, and it is expected that we will need to perform minor adjustments as we move forward.
I am glad to hear that. I was concerned that once the project was officially labeled as complete, we would have to address these technical adjustments without further guidance.
That is not the case. We are committed to providing the necessary resources. We have allocated time every Friday for the next month specifically for troubleshooting and workflow optimization.
That is very helpful. Having a dedicated time for support will definitely assist us in maintaining our current momentum.
Exactly. Our objective is to ensure this transition remains effective in the long run. Please continue to share your observations with me. In this final stage, the way you offer support directly impacts your professional credibility.
Instead of saying, the project is over, so we need to stop discussing the difficulties and just handle the workload, this dismissive tone can lower team morale and reduce transparency.
Instead, say, we value your ongoing feedback as we continue to optimize our new workflow for the best possible results. This reinforces that you are a partner in the team's professional success. Let's practice these final phrases to demonstrate reliable leadership. We are committed to providing ongoing resources for this transition.
We are committed to providing ongoing resources for this transition.
Now, let's practice a phrase regarding professional feedback. We value your ongoing feedback as we continue to optimize our workflow.
We value your ongoing feedback as we continue to optimize our workflow.
Practicing these expressions shows that you prioritize quality and professional dedication. This long-term focus is what truly builds a professional culture, Marcus. We have now covered everything from the first announcement to sustainable support.
We have, Sophia. But for those who want to master the most impactful expressions from today's session, we have prepared a final summary.
That is right. Next, we have our key takeaways, where we highlight the most effective phrase for leading change. Stay with us for this final review. We have navigated through the 5 essential steps of leading change. Marcus, if you had to select one key takeaway from our discussion today, what would it be?
For me, Sophia, it is the concept of professional understanding. It is about acknowledging a colleague's technical concerns while maintaining a clear vision for our collective objectives.
I share that perspective. When we lead with clarity and respect, the team feels valued. Change then becomes an opportunity for professional evolution rather than a source of uncertainty.
We hope these scenarios provide you with a practical roadmap for your own workplace. Which part of managing change do you find the most rewarding in your career? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below.
Before we conclude, let's consolidate our learning. We will practice the most effective phrases from each scenario. Follow the rhythm. I will read clearly, Marcus will emphasize the key terms, and then it is your turn to speak. The primary goal of this transition is to enhance our collective productivity.
The primary goal of this transition is to enhance our collective productivity.
Maintaining a steady pace is key. Let's continue. I appreciate you bringing those figures to my attention.
I appreciate you bringing those figures to my attention.
Focus on the professional tone. Next phrase. We are realigning our timeline to ensure a smooth transition.
We are realigning our timeline to ensure a smooth transition.
This is a vital phrase for leadership. Let's move to responsibilities. We want to utilize your skills where they provide the most value.
We want to utilize your skills where they provide the most value.
Consistency is important. One last phrase for long-term trust. We value your ongoing feedback as we continue to optimize our workflow.
We value your ongoing feedback as we continue to optimize our workflow.
You have completed the practice session with dedication to your professional development. Leading change is a skill that grows with every professional conversation. Thank you for dedicating your time to mastering these expressions with us today.
Remember, a leader's most effective tool is a clear and empathetic voice. We look forward to supporting your professional journey in our next session.
If you found this helpful, you may want to explore our previous discussion on effective progress reporting to further refine your communication skills.
We wish you a productive and successful week ahead. See you in the next video.
Goodbye for now.